This is to address task number 14. It discusses in task number 14 that there are different orientations of the XYZ plane. And I thought that the best way to show this was to just make a set figure on the XYZ plane and show that it was preserved. So I currently have a cube right now drawn in on the XYZ plane. You can see it here as we are tilting the XYZ plane, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with it and rotate it and change. And in two-dimensional you can see that it still exists, and then when we look back at however we have our axes show up, it's going to still maintain that shape. So no matter how you view what is up or down, north or south, east or west, it's definitely still remaining on there. It's not altering anything. Additionally, what I was playing around with earlier is just putting in some planes. And for instance, I'm going to go ahead and type one of them. If I had, for instance, the XY2 plane, which we used in a previous example, what I did was after I took that plane, I actually just swapped the order of some of the information. So instead of in my input right here, I had just put in the XYZ, and if I go up to the surface, this is the one that I just highlighted. It was the XY2, and that gave me that surface. And I just want to go ahead and just kind of change the input and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and choose just a random one. So I'm going to put Y first, then I'm going to put the value of 2, and then Z. And I'm going to go ahead and enter that, and what you see is another surface on the screen. But notice that it is the exact same surface. It's just in a different location. So I thought that that was an interesting way to view this problem, because if the coordinates could not be interchanged, then that would not have occurred. And I just thought it made everything just slightly more interesting to show that we can have that happen. So again, this is almost like in two-dimensional, where the isometries that we create in two-dimensional field preserve the image and distance, and the only thing that really is changing is the new location. And again, any rotation that occurs on these axes, any direction with whether or not we want to use the X one way versus the Y another, or the Z in a different way, we are going to end up with the same exact possibilities. So it's just all in the eye of the beholder, and whichever way is preferred is, you know, technically up to that person. So it does work regardless. Okay, that was task number 14.